Hello and welcome to Carbitrage Podcast Episode 96. I am Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hi, sir.
Hi, and I am Ryan, who is looking for his bottle opener. There it is.
Oh, that is typical Ryan, right?
Yep, typical me.
I was gonna say I don't know if I've seen you any other way, so it's just fine.
Drinking so many EPA. That's what my life has come to.
I feel so bad for you.
I really don't like Summit. They're like my least favorite local brewery, like by far.
They're the oldest and widest spread, though. They have some good stuff.
Anyway, so yes.
Complaint levied. Moving on.
Speaking of complaints, I have a horror story for you.
Do you? It's
Yes.
not October 31st, but why don't you lay it on me? I saw a horror movie at a movie theater last night, so...
So I was at workish area, and there's a gentleman that came up with a BMW 745i. Yes, the E65s, the ones that had the terrible V8s
Yep,
and
yeah,
everything.
2002 to 2009 or whatever they
Yeah,
were.
those disgusting-looking vehicles. There's nothing good about them. They're even ugly. I really don't like them.
The especially the pre-facelift. The facelift sport pack ones can look okay.
It's the rear end that does it for me that I can't.
The Bangle butt.
Yeah, I really don't like that butt.
Chris Bangle is the designer of that vehicle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I dislike him or the person that did the B5 Passat and Ford 500
Well,
more.
keep in mind, Chris Bangle also did things like Mr. Wags, so
All right, fine.
clearly his
So
autism got less significant.
The guy that did the Ford 500 and B5 Passat is still worse. Anyway, this gentleman comes up. The car was blasting rap music when he was pulling up,
Nice.
and had billow of blue smoke coming out of the tailpipe.
Ah, because the cylinder heads have failed because it's an N62.
Yes, and he comes in talking on his phone, gets off his phone. He's like, yeah, I just put some Blue Devil radiator stop leak in this engine. I'm like, no! I'm like, don't do that.
Wait. In the engine?
Yeah, so I assume...
Not the cooling system.
I assume he meant the cooling system
Oh,
at this
jeez.
point.
Okay.
I'm like, you're done. Like, that's it. Like, that engine has enough problems, and now you've blocked off coolant galleys. Like, you're totally done at this point.
Yep.
And he goes, well, I didn't put it in the coolant. Oh? So you put, like...
Do go on.
You put, like, oil, like, stop leak? He goes, no, I accidentally poured the radiator stop leak in the oil. And I'm like, those areas are nowhere near each other. What were you thinking?
All right.
I'm like, yeah, you're super done now.
Yeah,
He goes,
because coolant stop leak is full of, like, big chunks of stuff to plug holes.
yeah, exactly. And that car has, like, tiny oil galleys going to things.
Sure does.
Yeah,
Like rod bearings.
Exactly. And so I'm like, yeah, you're literally done. Like, that's the end of this engine. You've ruined it now. And he goes, shit. And he goes, oh, how about this? I'll sell it to you for $1,300. I'm like, no. And my other person that's with me is like, fuck no. And I'm like, absolutely nope.
That thing is
nope.
worth like $200.
Maximum fucking nope. I'm like, you can give me $4,500 and then I might think about taking it. And he's like, well, how much will it be to replace the engine? I'm like, $20,000 realistically to get a good one.
No.
'Cause you're going to have to get
A
one that's
good N62 is like $1,500.
No, but I mean, like, get one that's like, I'd be willing to warranty it. So go through the whole thing, make sure it's all right and everything.
It's like $1,500.
Plus the labor.
Yeah, it's a lot of labor.
And you have to charge $120 per hour for labor, plus all the other stuff. So,
Well in excess of 3 or 4 times what the car is worth.
yeah, it'll probably end up being about $20,000 because that's about.
I would say
how
$6,000 to
much-
$8,000 is
No,
reasonable
it's-
for an engine replacement on that car.
Well, I'm just going through all the other like incidentals that can come up.
Uh-huh.
Like that's where I'd ballpark it. It's the same thing that I do with like a 4.2 V8 and an Audi.
Yeah.
I go. It's way easier for me to say $20,000 and it ends up being 15, and the guy's like, "Cool, I saved $5,000." But still, at the end of the day, I'm not doing that because I don't service BMWs.
If you're doing a 4.2, something's really wrong if you're over $10,000.
No,
Like a chain job in one of those is like $3,800.
for not including labor. You really have to think about that.
Yeah, it is including labor.
No, it's about $3,800
On a Touareg 4.2, or those are belts, sorry, on a Touareg 3.2 chain motor.
No, you gotta do a 4.2 V8 chains.
That's fine. A B6 S4, a chain job at a mall is $3,800.
No. For labor,
No.
$3,800. I work at a shop. I literally price this shit out every fucking day.
But I'm good friends with the techs, man.
I don't care.
I keep walking through it. Like, every time you send me a picture of one of the chains open on the back of one of those things, I'm like, good God. What did they
it's
do?
awful. Like, I have to pay the tax. You're going to be paying, like, list price
but
on
you're
all
probably
these.
buying, like, the OE parts from the dealer for the guides.
Yeah, because I have to get
You
that.
got to buy private label OE parts.
I have to get them. I have to warranty them. I have to be able to get the parts in a timely fashion.
Right, but that's good karma's cost.
Yeah.
Shops that can do it with OE parts with no warranty can do it for $3,800.
Yeah.
That's all I'm illustrating.
No, we are not, and that's nowhere near close. That's still nowhere near close, because you will likely have to be doing a cylinder head while you're at it, because those have such bad problems.
I'm just saying, a chain and guide
this
job.
is not the point of this conversation.
Don't buy a 4.2.
Okay, so now...
I think that's the point of this conversation.
No, it's not at all, actually. What I was going to try and get to, now you've ruined my story and my topic.
4.4 then, don't buy that.
The important thing to learn here is buy a car that you can afford to maintain. Not the car that you can afford. Because...
Cayenne Turbo, what?
Yeah. So all right, if you look at my vehicle history, it includes
I have.
a lot of cars that kind of suck. And to somebody that's into Audis and BMWs and shit like that.
Well, yeah, I guess from like an outside perspective.
Yeah, from an outside perspective, unless you know cars, these cars on face value sound like they suck.
Sure.
Like CA Accords, EF Civics, CB Accords, MR2s, Supras, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things, I buy those because I can afford to maintain them. Like, if I, wreck the engine in my Cressida, I can go, it'll take me a little while, but I will find another 7M for like $600.
Weird, didn't you have that happen?
Yeah, weird, yeah. And I did. And if you have like, I just see so many people like fall into this trap where they like, their only car is like an Audi, the 4.2 V8, and now they're really screwed.
Yeah, like they depend on it to get to their low-paying job that can barely make them enough money to pay their bills.
Like you can make the monthly payment. Cool. All right. So what happens when you have a very, very common timing chain that turns into a cylinder head, which now exploded my original quote of $6,000?
Now they're making payments on something that's a paperweight too.
Yeah, like it's just insane. Or like you buy a 745i, and this is where this all kind of came up.
Definitely don't do that.
Now, somebody buys a 745i. First off, they've done zero research at all. Like, none.
Yeah, that's pretty apparent.
That or they really like the 745i for some reason.
It does have a really nice interior, but...
I don't understand it. At the same time, I'll take everything everybody likes with a grain of salt, because I also legitimately like some really terrible, like objectively terrible cars.
You do.
Like the 86 Subaru that I own. Like, that car is just not a good car. I love that car.
Yeah, but it's got character.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah, that's true.
A V8 chain motor Audi doesn't have character.
No, and neither does
doesn't
the
right, yeah.
Neither does the 745i.
Yeah, you look at an E65 pre-facelift, the first dozen words that come to your mind aren't character.
No, they're not. You're trying to leave the conversation as fast as possible. But
I don't want my timing chains to fail. I got to get away from you.
The thing is, I always say this to people, especially because working in Northeast, I get people that come up from Northwest Minneapolis, to be fair, people from Northeast as well. Where I get a lot of people that are like, "Hey, I got this really dope deal on an all road, or I got this really cool deal on a Q7. Like, should I get this?" And I'm like, "No, don't." And they're like, "Yeah, but it's really nice." I'm like, everything that this car can do for you, a Lexus LS400 can do for you. And that Lexus LS400 is going to be a Toyota pickup mechanically.
Yep.
Like, everything is going to be super cheap to maintain. So, like, I've flipped probably 7, including this guy. This will be the 7th person that I've flipped from buying a super cheap Q7 or BMW or Mercedes.
And it's worth noting, you guys don't service Lexuses.
We will.
Okay.
We don't officially, but I'm willing to help somebody out, especially if it's.
You told them to buy the car.
Yeah, because this is one of those things where it's like, I would rather have a Lexus in the shop, have my techs complain that they have to work on a Lexus, which is beyond me, but whatever.
That's not a hardship.
Yeah,
that's like
but
you're welcome type of shit.
Like, if I have to have my technicians work on a Lexus, but that means that I can now sell the job and I can actually like not ruin this person's life, I go to sleep sleeping well at night. Because if I tell somebody, yeah, buy the Q7, dude. 4.2 V8s are rad. They have so much torque. And I don't mention the horrific issues with timing chain 4.2 V8s. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Like, I would lose sleep if I told somebody to buy a Tiguan without disclosing to them that 2.0Ts have large issues.
Or without an extended warranty.
Yeah, and I tell people, yeah, if you really want to take one, if this is the right car, yeah, do it. And I will help you with an extended warranty. I'm great with working with extended warranty companies. I love doing it. Because I love being argumentative and screaming at people.
No way,
And that's all you have to do. And it's really a great outlet for me. So please, if you have...
You should just be like a customer advocate for people dealing with aftermarket warranty companies.
Yeah, like I will happily work with your aftermarket warranty company. And the thing is I'm asleep well at night knowing that, there's this guy who was going to buy a Q7 or something, and now he's super happy because he's got like a GS 450 or something.
Which is reliable.
Not 450, it's an insanely expensive car.
430.
But 430, thank you. Yeah, he's got a GS 430. It's like 10 years old.
I was going to say,
it's
the
got
2UZ also had been around for like 10 years prior to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So they figured it out.
And so, it's kind of crappy. It's got yellowed headlights. It's got dent in the side. It's rusty. And you know what? This dude's super happy because everything works on it. He's got his leather seats and he can still flex on people.
And I've never seen one of those in a junkyard.
Yeah, because they don't exist in a junkyard. They exist in scrap yards because they've been T-boned at 100 miles an hour, or they've just been reliable and they were just on the road.
Yep.
So
even like the first gen GS, I've seen a couple of those, but the last time I saw one at a U-Pull was at Cash for Clunkers.
Yeah, they're very, very, very reliable vehicles, and they're really good. They're super comfortable. And people say, well, they're not fun to drive. We put good tires on, it'll be fun to drive. Or if you want to feel like your car's rowdier than it really is, put shitty tires on it, and it'll be also fun to drive.
GT86 platform.
Yeah, exactly. Either put super good or super shitty tires, depending on what you want to do. And that will be a fun car without spending a lot of money.
Correct. Yeah, the GS is a good car.
It really is. And it's just one of those things where this E46 story, where the guy bought the car.
E65.
E65 story. This E65 story where this guy bought the car and blew it up, and to be fair, he's like, as he was leaving, he goes, I just fucked up a perfectly good engine. my response to him was, I can guarantee you that was not a perfectly good engine, so don't feel too bad about it. And it sucks, and I know you just bought it at auction, but
you should have just offered to do an oil change with 75 W90.
That might work. But
it would definitely prolong its life.
I don't think he could afford the oil change. I don't think he knew how much oil was in it. Like, this poor guy, he just screwed himself, really hardcore. It's just like...
I should see if that's on Craigslist right now.
Yeah, it's silver, and it's got like a small dent right at the crease in the body line on the left rear quarter panel.
It is not?
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah,
interesting.
It might have blown up already.
Probably. Sent it to the scrapyard already.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, that's just it's a story. Buy what you can afford to maintain, and that doesn't mean that you have to have a crappy car. There's so many good cars.
Yeah. There's reliable good stuff everywhere. You just have to be careful.
Yeah, you really, really do, and especially if you're trying to deal with German cars. German cars are great.
Extra careful.
German cars are really, really awesome. I love
the service
German cars.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, I love Mercedes. I love BMWs. There's some Volkswagens I love, even though I had my huge freak out a few episodes ago.
Which one?
The one where I screamed at the end of the episode. By the way, my list of cool Volkswagens that I don't hate, the Audi 200 20-valve Quattros now on that list, because that's a very cool car.
Okay, fine. I do like the brake discs. Those are
really rad. But,
all right, I want to talk about more reliable stuff and good secondhand purchases. I actually came down to the studio here a little bit earlier this morning because I was showing a dude on Craigslist my Fiat 500e. Yes. And that is segueing me into buying a used EV. I think that is going to be a pretty good, safe bet for people that really need to depend on their cars in the future.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
There's no oil changes. There's really nothing that can screw up mechanically, other than if your wheel falls off because you didn't maintain your ball joints. That's the same thing.
Or like that that finisher truck that I saw, that Range
Oh,
Rover
man.
with a wheel off.
I do like your comment after that. Like, my favorite part was seeing the brake disc spin and the guy being confused why it wasn't moving. Which, like, wow, 3 open diffs. All right. Sounds good. Anyway, so we're doing a Patreon topic next, and it is going to be focusing on EVs.
Yes.
More specifically, EV charging infrastructure. So the question is, if we were to build an interstate or metro EV charging station, could also apply to like a rest stop or a gas station as an add-on, how would we go about designing? Like, what other stuff would, like amenities, and like how would you lay out the chargers? And
First off, I want to say this should absolutely be a video game, like a tycoon game where you have to like build your like gas station.
build your infrastructure?
Yeah,
Like add that to automation.
No, yeah, exactly. But no, I mean like you know, you had like it'd be something like Restaurant Tycoon or something, or like something like that. You could have Bodega Tycoon.
Oh my. The places your mind goes, Ryan.
So what would you do, since it's your topic?
Okay.
Because you've obviously thought about this more than me.
Well, I have. I mean, a lot of the cars out there right now, don't have DC fast charging capability. So the people that are going to be there, if they're doing a trip like that, like they're going to be charging in an emergency situation. It's not opportunity charging. They have to charge.
Yeah.
So giving them something like a chain restaurant really nearby is really helpful. Like a coffee shop or something with Wi-Fi is really helpful, because then they're not wasting the hours of their day. They're still able to be productive. So that's a must for me. One thing I've personally run into, a lot of EV chargers are back in spaces. For me, not a big deal, but like if I have a trailer and I need to charge, I'm out of luck. So I think pull through charging areas is huge if there's space for it. Obviously, in an urban setting, that's not going to be realistic.
No,
but it's something to think about, because I really, it depends on where the charge port is in your car, but like a lot of the spaces require you to back in to charge. So that's something I would try to avoid. The number of spaces, I think, is pretty big.
Yes.
You need a lot more EV chargers than you need gas pumps on an interstate, because cars aren't there for 5-10 minutes. They're there for 15 to 60 minutes.
2 or 3 gas pumps and like 8 EV chargers.
Right. So yeah, I think like a ratio like that is a good idea, having 2 or 3 times as many EV chargers. The industry standard right now moving forward is CCS for quick charging. That's what they call it. CCS is the standard round EV charger plug with the 2 DC pins on the bottom. Okay. So that's like what the i3 uses, the Bolt uses it, the iPace uses it, the new upcoming Porsche is using it. Tesla does not, but they're coming up with an adapter, so our dumbasses can use it. That does up to 150 kilowatts, so that's super fast DC charging. I would focus on those connectors and still have the fallback slow charging ones like the Fiat uses. I would also have, like I said, like a food stop and a coffee shop for sure with bathrooms. That's a must, but a convenience store would be great if it's something like a gas station, just to try to migrate people over from gasoline to EV.
So I'm going to turn to Japan for the answer to this.
Sure.
And just so you get an idea, you've been through Illinois?
I have several times.
So you know those like overpasses they have that go over the highway, and there's like a little like mall inside of them?
Yeah.
So
the plazas or whatever the hell they call them. Yeah.
I'm blanking on what they call them, but in Japan, they have parking areas that are like that, and they have them everywhere. And so what I would do is I'd do something kind of like a Japanese parking area, and I'd also model the way my charging system is set up after Japanese gas stations.
Okay.
Japanese gas stations, you don't have the pump in the ground. The pump is underground, and then you have the plumbing that goes up to the roof of the awning, and then the hoses hang down.
Oh. How? Okay. So how do you pay?
Well, it'd be full service when they do that. So
interesting.
Yep, you have your full service gas station, and then there's a guy that comes out and does that. And the reason they have it hanging up there is so, regardless of the location of the gas tank, it's always convenient for the customer. With the EV with a trailer, be perfect.
That would be perfect.
Because it would come straight down and just go right into it.
Huh.
Now,
the only downside of that is the length between the transformer equipment and the actual charge port in the vehicle. With DC, that can be affected.
Well, you could modify that easily.
Well, you just have to put it in the awning. Yeah, it wouldn't be.
You put all that in the awning. You can put on the pillars to the awning, and just have them run up. I mean, it's really it'd be triple the length of the cord. It's not like you're
right.
It's not like it's going from the building all the way out there. It's
Right.
just it's going to be a 3 times as long cord. Now, as far as what I would do inside of it, NPR, Marketplace,
Okay.
Kai Rizal is talking about the future of gas stations and bodegas.
Okay.
Because a lot of gas stations are running into this issue already where EVs and hybrid vehicles don't use as much gas and they're tanking their profits. So a lot of them have done is they're turning actually to becoming actually this is very common in Miami, they become a destination gas station. So they take their old service station that nobody goes to because the technicians that are 75 years old and used to do carburetors can't figure out how to do, a BMW. They can't do a decarb on an Audi.
These timing chains are bad.
Yeah, they don't know what to do.
There you go.
Yeah, they don't know what to do.
Sucks to be you.
They're actually turning a lot of those into restaurants. And so what they'll have is every one of these bodegas have different like specialized foods. So Kai Rizdal was interviewing this Puerto Rican owned gas station that turned their service station because it was like a one lift shop and the overhead was more than they could ever possibly make.
Yeah.
They turned that into a cafeteria that served homemade, like literally the owner had his mom come in and start making her own jibaritos, which are like, it's like a Cubano sandwich.
Oh, nice.
But with plantains.
Oh.
Fried plantains as the buns. It's really, really good.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. So, they started doing this like little cafeteria where they have like key burritos and like horchata and stuff like that. And it actually became a destination. And now people go there and like go out of their way to bring an EV to their charging stations. So now they can go there and have an excuse to go eat at the cafeteria.
Interesting.
It's actually a totally revitalized their business. They're bigger than ever. They're like crazy profitable now. I would do something like that.
Yeah, destination charging is a big thing. I think you're right.
I think, maybe I would say, it'd be really dependent on where it is. But say I was doing this. Say I was doing this as a chain. Each one would have a different interior. So if I have one that's on Lake Street or something, I'd find like a really good African or South American restaurant that I could have them come in and run a restaurant in the gas station. Have the inside, maybe have some like organic, food and stuff, some like locally sourced stuff. Make it something that somebody really wants to spend their money at.
Well, it has to be something unique. Otherwise, like, why are they going to go there?
Yeah, I'm not going to go there and like make my gas station and make it be like full of, Super Mom's hot dogs and gross stuff like that.
I think that your idea is a much better fit for not necessarily something that's right on an interstate. Because I think my idea is maybe more geared towards like the hop destination to get to yours.
Yes.
Because I think, that's a completely different feel, but I think that's a strong point. Because if you're trying to get people to get there and stay there for a long time and spend money, then, you need something unique.
Yeah.
Whereas my purpose, I just get, some money out of them real quick while they're topping up with their DC fast charge to get to your
and I think
destination.
Well, even then, with a DC fast charger, it's still what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, best case.
That's what a lunch is about 20 to 45 minutes. And that's actually why NPR was talking about this, was they had this huge issue with gas stations. Now you have these EVs that are clogging up your life, and you have a bunch of pissed off customers when everybody's getting lunch and they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Now, my idea, when you do that, you can also change that with a locale. So say it's in rural Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Well, instead of doing, organic jibaritos and stuff, you can do
I hadn't heard that word until today, and I've now heard it several times. It's a pattern.
You should also eat one because they're delicious.
They sound amazing.
Yeah. Instead of doing organic jibaritos, you could do you're in Wisconsin. There's going to be something locally sourced.
There's going to be some cheese.
And furthermore, you now have a captive tourist.
Yeah.
This is the same thing as a tourist trap was in the 60s.
They have to be there.
They literally have to be there. So you can make them something pretty awesome. So you go to the local farm. you're in Wisconsin, there's going to be a dairy farm. Get some really bomb cheese curds.
Seriously, I would totally do that.
Make some of the best cheese curds and the best, like bison like hamburger they've ever had in their life.
Peter and I were talking about a place called Carl's Corner, which is about an hour west and south of here. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to find some like bogus destination that makes no sense just to drive our cars to and come back.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to do that. But like that place would be so much more appealing even if they had a level 2 charger. Just something to like give me 20 miles of range back when I get there. So that would be perfect.
And then there's one other thing that we should mention with this.
Okay.
Most people that have EVs, at this point in time, they are expensive cars. These are people with
the
money.
most part,
Usually it's rich liberals. So these are open-minded people with
Some
money.
of the lower end EV people are pretty frugal, but that's going to be too far away for those folks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the people that are actually going out these places, they're going to be rich liberals.
Yep.
And those people will spend their money frivolously.
I sure do.
Yeah, so, like, you can totally, instead of hating rich liberals, appeal to them.
Yep.
Like, if you're in the middle of nowhere, get your organic milk, get your organic cheese curds, get
my farm-to-table steaks.
Give me my, like, farm-to-table $20 hamburger.
As long as it says farm-to-table, organic, and free range on it.
And then, like, sprinkle some quinoa on the top of it, like sesame seeds.
No.
And you will have every rich liberal with their Teslas.
Just so many Teslas.
You will not know, you won't know what to do with yourself.
Did you see the fail feed yesterday?
No. Oh, yeah, I saw you. See, he's trying to get a Tesla. You got the same car as you.
Same year, same color, same model. Or spec, way more miles.
Yes, I saw that. That's hilarious.
Dude, it's just getting creepy now.
The guy's he's a pervert, dude.
8-year-olds, dude.
Yeah, 8-year-olds, dude.
Anyway, on that topic, let's get to yours.
Yes. 1 second here.
It's not at all on that same topic, but
yes. Haggerty, here, my link didn't save. Let me bring that up for you.
I can maybe try to find it too.
It was from like Monday, so I'll just share it on here.
Alrighty.
I'm sorry, everyone. I tried to have my shit together, and here I am.
I think I found it here. Hold on. 9 electric vehicles that could be.
Yeah, that's it. I just added it onto the notes too.
Man.
So they're not all electric. They're kind of like electric, alternative.
Plug-in.
They're alternative fuel vehicles. Tesla Roadster, 100%.
First gen, yep.
Yeah, absolutely is. That's going to be a collectible. There's one in space. Actually, that particular one pictured is in space.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So that would be a great one.
They're mediocre cars. They're still pretty good.
Yeah. Then the Model S, dependent on trim. I think a P85 rear-wheel drive or a P85D or P100D ludicrous mode. Those are going to be the two to collect.
Yeah, I think the ludicrous mode cars will definitely appreciate
third row
more.
seat. If you can get a P100D ludicrous mode third row seat, that's a collector.
So I guess I'll have to upgrade my car to that spec then.
It has to be spec'd out just like that, and that will be a crazy collector.
The thing I've noticed about these cars, when you buy them, register them, insure them, get tabs for them, there's no battery rating anywhere on the legal representation for the car.
Oh, really?
It's like mine, if I put a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack in it, put the performance motor in the back, and flashed it, would be a P100DL. And it wouldn't show otherwise anywhere else.
So you'd still have the same normal insurance.
Right, which is hugely expensive, no matter which car you have. But mine's a earlier car, so it's a little cheaper to insure just because the body panels are cheaper.
That's awesome.
But, okay, yeah, let's keep going.
I actually am a really big fan of that.
First gen Toyota Prius.
Yeah, I'll say that. The second gen's actually, I already noticed that they're actually getting people that are trying to get insurance policies on these, but Haggerty won't insure them because it's not over $30,000 for one. So they're already kind of getting there.
That's kind of funny. This is almost eligible for collector plates.
Oh, they are actually.
First gens?
Yeah.
It says 2001.
Okay. Sorry, I was thinking about the
Echo?
Insight. The Insight.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Echo,
Insight, yeah.
But yeah, so those are almost there. I've not seen one in years, but I mean,
Yeah, the last
that
time I
would
saw
be-
one of those in really great condition, I did look at it a second time, and that's a really impressive vehicle for 2001.
Not only that, like if you want a car that like really shows like early 2000s styling, like that in this one. Now this one, 100% the first generation Insight.
That's it.
They didn't note anything about the racing pedigree of these cars.
Yeah, the all aluminum body and the factory in which they were made.
No, these will be collectible because they have a racing pedigree. The world's fastest single red cam Honda and the world's fastest in a Honda for a while were both done in one of these with a F22A1 90 through 93 Honda Accord engine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that's a lot of torque. I
the
can see that.
Bisimoto
Oh,
Insight.
of course it was BC. He gets so much power out of those F-Series motors.
Yeah, and it was it wasn't even hybrid or anything. And then there's also with California cracking down street racing, it's not common, but it's not unheard of, where people will take these, put K-Series into them, and yeah, they look and feel like an NSX, or not NSX, a CRX. And when you drive
They do
them,
drive
like
really
they
well.
drive like a CRX. Like when I drove,
I wanted to K-swap on it.
I think Jordan has one.
Jordan definitely had it. He used to have two, but now he has one.
Yeah, when I drove Jordans, it reminded me just like a CRX, and you could get the hybrid with a manual transmission, which is very, very cool.
That's my favorite thing about the Insight.
I'd also extend the CRZ.
I just
the
am not
Insight.
a fan of the CRZ. I like how it looks, but that should have been sold as a non-hybrid.
Yeah, no,
just
100%.
K-Series,
But
yeah.
I mean, the CRZ was a spiritual successor of the original Insight. So I would say CRZ as well. I don't know about the Volt.
First Gen Volt's a very good car, and it is like a first generation electric drive mass market vehicle. So I get that. And they will be something that you'll see in collections in the future, but they're going to be like the four-door Impalas in the collections. They're going to be the stuff that, like, I get why it's there, but it doesn't appeal.
I mean, I can't really agree with that, because when I see that, it reminds me of it reminds me of 1986 Oldsmobile Cutlass Calais. The first front-wheel drive Cutlass.
Gross.
That was GM's first front-wheel drive mass market car. And yeah, it was innovative, but innovative doesn't mean it's collectible.
Right, but there will be collectors that just collect innovative first-of-their-type vehicles, which is why they're going to have a first-gen Prius. Well, no, so they're going to have an Insight because they beat the Prius to the punch. And then they're going to have a Volt. They're going to have a Leaf. Because, I mean, I can't believe that the Leaf came out in 2010. That was so far ahead of its time for what it was.
Oh, it was phenomenal, yeah.
24 kilowatt-hour pure electric vehicle.
You'd have to get one with the zero emission sticker on the side like that.
If you're driving a first-gen Leaf and you don't have the zero emission vinyl on the side, you're doing it wrong.
You know what? The Mitsubishi i-MiEV.
Why? Just give me reasons why.
Well, more because I think that's going to appeal to the people that are currently really into collecting Japanese vehicles, importing Japanese cars.
It's definitely an
stuff like that.
interesting play, and I bet you'll be able to pick one up for nothing in the next couple of years.
But that's literally completely 100% unchanged K car. That is literally just a K car. They're really roomy.
They are, actually, They look so bad, though.
they're actually I like them a lot, but that's the thing is that the i-MiEV, when you see it, that draws your eye.
That thing's a showstopper. You took one of those things to Cars and Coffee, you bet your ass I'd go.
Yeah,
look at
that's
it.
the thing. It's like I think that would be a wild card. Like it'd be like if you brought like a God, what's a good example? Something like that.
I pulled up IMEV on Google, and Motor Trend has a 1-star rating.
Yeah, they did not sell well here in America at all. And
16
Mitsubishi put 100% of their effort into that car.
All of the eggs into that basket. 16 kilowatt-hour battery.
I think that the i-MiEV will end up as one of those just kind of like weird wacko cars that like people are like, what? Like a DeLorean.
Yeah.
Not objectively a bad car.
But the IMIF hasn't been in any movies.
No, that's true. But DeLorean's an extreme example. But something along the lines was an objectively bad car that really got people excited about it.
True. I'm actually looking at this now, and it's not as ugly as I remember.
No, I've actually always really liked the IMIF. I'm not sure why it's not on this list at all. But
I mean, it doesn't have quite enough range for what you need to do in a day-to-day thing. But like, I'm surprised you don't have one otherwise.
yeah, no, I would it's just a Mi actually in Japan.
Okay,
which
like
has a
gasoline or what?
2-cylinder gasoline engine.
So that's perfect.
The exact same amount of power, and it gets like 60 miles per gallon. It's fantastic. I wish I could get that in America.
Well, maybe I'll be able to get an up someday.
Yeah, that's another car. I guess that one's not objectively bad. That one's actually good.
It's
But,
a good car.
Yeah, so the Nissan Leaf totally deserves to be on this list. The B90 Hydrogen 7, what the
Oh,
hell?
look, it's an E65.
Like, why?
Well, it's a really impressive technology that they put into a production vehicle. Also, I think this was one of the first production vehicles to have a 48-volt electrical system in it.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's why is it an electric vehicle list?
It's a V12.
Yeah, but why is
It's
it?
alternative fuels, man. You said so yourself
I
when
know.
we started looking at
I know.
this article.
It's just
Anyway, we'll skip past that.
yeah.
Then.
That
Oh,
one,
yeah, remember that?
The Mercedes SLS AMG electric drive. That one absolutely deserves to be on this
So
list.
cool.
And they made that god awful yellow.
And I think that was
love
the only
so
color.
much. It's so perfect. And they knew exactly who their market was. It's to be like rich douchebags, and that is like
Yep.
a rich douchebag color. And this one should absolutely 100% not be on this list because that car's gonna suck.
R8 e-tron.
No, that car's gonna suck. If we're gonna start saying electric supercars,
Yeah.
the Remace when that inevitably comes out.
Well,
that's
after
gonna be
Richard
on there.
Hammond puts it off the side of a
And
mountain
since
again.
we're apparently including hybrids, the 918, every single McLaren, all of those, like the NSX, like those are all gonna be, collectible. So this list, I feel like they really just did not want to give the iMaev the time of day. You know what?
Or the Fiat 500e. The
Or the
best
500e.
compliance vehicle ever.
I think the 500e is also gonna be
But
on.
what about the i3? That thing was like a
Yeah.
mass market vehicle with a carbon fiber tub, 100% renewable interior.
Yeah. It's complete nonsense, this list. And it's,
Haggerty, I disagree with this list.
well, I wanted to note something, but you have to be like a member of the Haggerty Driving Club to comment. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
I refuse to be a member of that club.
Yeah, I don't want to have to join a club. Like make like Japanese nostalgia car where I can just make like Japanese nostalgia car where you can just like comment on it.
I was gonna say you should make one of those lists for Japanese nostalgic cars,
Let's make
but it's not Japanese necessarily.
I'll make it
so-
for the Carbitrage website
There you go, perfect.
because that's
Ta-da!
what the website exists for.
It's gonna be the correct version.
Yeah, the website exists exclusively
It's in all the links, yeah.
for things that I cannot do on just Japanese nostalgia car. So.
Okay, fine, very fine. I'll look forward to reading that and hopefully contributing some of my opinions. But,
Yes. Yeah, you totally can.
Next thing I want to talk about, just briefly before we get on to other news, is I was actually scrolling past a similar story, but I opened it up and read it, and it wasn't really what I was after. So I want to just kind of put it out in my own terms. So when you and I shop for a car, we look for the odd variants of things that nobody bought that enthusiasts love, like
Yes.
a manual transmission in a Mazda 5 or a 6-speed in an FJ.
Yes.
Or, I guess those are the two daily driver examples. So it is what it is. But
basically that kind of thing where it's
right, you're looking for like a
Big
very
engine
specific
manual
set of
transmission.
options. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you want, like in the case of the Element, like I want all the safety features, but I also want all-wheel drive, and
Yeah.
I want a manual.
Yeah.
Like that's almost impossible to find. And like if you want certain options, and like an E46 M3 with a manual, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that when I go to sell that vehicle that takes me forever to find for a reasonable sum of money, it takes impossibly long to sell it because everyone that comes to look at it is shopping for the non-rare version, and they are actually like decreasing their perceived value of your vehicle because it's different.
no, yeah. If you're gonna decrease the value of my car, like
Yeah.
when I inevitably sell the Mazda 5, and somebody tries to offer me less because it's manual, I'm telling them to fuck off.
That's what I do. But
You want me to do? I'm actually because I know it's gonna happen. I'll be haggling. They're gonna say, you know what? If it was automatic, I'd give you 2,000. But since it's manual, 1,500. I'm like, how about this? Since it's manual, 3,000. You can go ahead and fuck right off.
What I've done in the past is when I know that this person's going to lowball me, I will go find on AutoTrader, eBay, and Craigslist
3 different
the
examples.
lowest of
Yeah.
each that I can find for sale or sold. And I'll be like, tell me how your offer makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, I saw one black. I'm like, no, you didn't.
no, you didn't. It doesn't exist.
And my favorite's when they send me a comp locally, and then
And
I
it's
just tear it to shreds. I'm like,
A completely different car.
yeah, it's like the different year, usually a different motor, and like horrible colors or something like that. And it's always an automatic. I'm just like, dude.
You know, my favorite thing is I used to do this when I was a car salesman. I was done arguing with somebody. I'd say, you know what? I think this might be too much car for you. I think you should probably look for something else. don't think this is the right car for you.
Wow, that's not the best backhanded way of getting somebody out of a car. I don't know what it is.
I was instructed to do that by people very high up in the dealership because you're not being rude. They have nothing they can actually complain about, and you are being a complete douche. Like if you're trying to eject someone, that's how you kindly eject them. Is you just
That's epic. You know what?
it's just
this
fantastic.
might be too much car for you.
I don't see you in this car. I think it's a little much for you. I think you should have you considered a Mirage.
Just have one parked right out front so you can just point over to it after every test drive.
I got this
You tried this Mirage?
I got this like gray automatic Mirage.
It's a G4.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. You'd love it. I think you'd be really into it. This would be the right car for you.
Oh, it's making me hurt inside so much.
Yeah, there are things. Another good one I heard once was a person was shopping for STIs and kept arguing with the
Now you're talking
salesperson.
about Subarus, right?
Yeah.
Not sexually
Yeah.
transmitted
He
infections?
kept arguing with the Subaru salesman, and the Subaru salesman's like, yeah, I don't think we have what you're looking for. Have you tried going over to Hyundai? Like, to a car enthusiast, that's just like the biggest middle finger.
Except for now, you go over there and you find a G76 speed. You're like, oh, thank you.
So the guy like the demeanor that you have, but was
Oh,
unrealistic
no.
as well.
Oh, no.
And it's just like
That is not a good combination.
the worst sort of customer.
I'm only tolerable because my expectations are reasonable.
God, if I didn't know you, you came into my shop and you demanded I do a timing chain for $3,000, I'd kick you in the dick and
I don't go to shops. Are you kidding me?
yeah. Well,
I'm friends with Tex. That's as close as I get to that crap. There's a very good reason I don't do that for a job. I could, but I
it's
don't.
not a fun job.
All right, speaking of the Mazda 5's rarity, tell me about its brake upgrades.
So yeah, I found out I'm gonna need front brakes soon
Okay.
because I was looking.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, wheels are off doing tires. You know, do a
3
look-see.
millimeters, whatever.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, I've got 30% of my pad left before I
fine,
get
dude.
to the backing plate,
Rotors are cheap.
and then I got
Dig
that.
into it, who
The
cares?
backing plate will get me to work.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just gotta watch out for how much rust gets on the side of your car.
So with my van, I found out that Mazda 5s and
Yeah.
Mazda Speed 3s actually use the same brake caliper.
Really? Just a
And-
different bracket?
Different bracket. You can go from having a 11-inch brake rotor to 12.7.
Nice.
Yeah. So-
BMW's done that in the past too, where I was like, the first time, I think it was back in like 2011 when I was still parting out of the one-car shop in Plymouth.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy with an E46 323i show up,
Yeah.
and I had just parted out an E36 325. So I parted out a 92, and this guy had a 2000, actually it was a 99, and he's like, I need just give me the caliper for that 92. I'm like, well, it doesn't cross-check. It's like the slide portion is the same, but the bracket's different. So sure enough, we took his wheel off, and like it fit. I'm like,
That's amazing.
so apparently the actual slide center section of that caliper fits like every 3 series from 1992 to 2000.
That's amazing.
So same type of deal, but yeah, they changed the size of the brake disc with the.
So with mine, the other interesting thing is for Mazda Speed 3 is a common brake upgrade is to run Mazda 5 rear brakes.
On the front?
No, in the rear.
Oh, okay.
Because they're like a half-inch bigger in the rear or something.
Sure. More weight, I get.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing is, once I do these Mazda 3 brakes, I'm gonna have like the best brake system. It's gonna be phenomenal.
How much can you get a set of the brackets for?
I have to get them from Mazda, so like $120 a piece. Unless I want to go find them at
And then how much are
junkyard and-
rotors?
like I can get them for $20, whatever.
I
Who
think
cares?
that's probably worth doing.
No, 100%.
Does it
no,
fit under
no
the
question.
17s? Okay, I assume.
Yeah, it'll fit fine. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. It'll be
I
really
could
nice.
probably find you a cheap set of calipers for that thing.
Well, I don't need calipers, just a bracket.
I know, but like
well, I
you're
was-
gonna end up having to buy the calipers.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can get just the bracket from Mazda. That's the thing. Is I'm like, all I want is to do the bracket. My calipers are like 100% fine.
I know, but it's probably cheaper to buy a complete thing and just take the
That's
bracket
true.
off. I'm seeing a ton of calipers here for like 40 shipped
With the bracket?
with the bracket.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I need to confirm that it comes with the bracket. Because I don't want to pay for shipping back. I'm also
Well-
very frugal when it comes to weird things like this. Or it's like I want to like
When
guarantee.
it comes to no, Ryan, you're
Like-
just frugal all the time.
like I don't want to like sit here and say.
I'm gonna show the nice ladies and gentlemen what we're talking about. So free shipping, Mazda Speed 3
Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect.
with the bracket. So I'm sure they have the other one too. But there you go. They're $80 plus rotors.
You should post on my Facebook wall so I can
It's in the Carbitrage notes.
Oh, good. Thank you. I will. I might actually buy that tonight.
Otherwise, I can look at the salvage yard interchange tonight and see if I can find something cheaper.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I need to get the left one too.
Well,
And
yeah, I know.
Well, if I can get just the bracket, like I'd pay probably $80 so I can get just the brackets, and I get them like soon, you know. But yeah, it would be a really really awesome upgrade. I'm really excited for it. And then
Yeah, I love OEM plus like brake upgrades.
the only thing I'm gonna do aftermarket is I'm gonna put stainless steel lines because I do want to take the van out and track it.
Stainless steel lines, I would caution. I'm really not a fan of those. They do offer better pedal feel, but they don't last as long, especially
Oh,
if you drive a car in the winter.
Okay.
But if you do, make sure they're Teflon lined.
Yeah, yeah. But just like a braided brake hose.
Yeah, I know.
I've run into issues with tech before where they were like, yeah, you need to have the stainless steel lines. I'm like, no, I don't. Like that literally happened to BIR once.
That's
I'm
ridiculous. Rubber brake hoses are still on like the best factory performance cars out there. And
Yeah,
there's a
exactly.
reason
They
for
work
that,
fine.
so they're really good.
And then the other thing I noticed, right rear control arm, lateral control arm on my van has a worn out bushing.
Oh no.
I noticed that the rear end was sitting just a smidge low, and the bushing was torn. It was just sitting like off center on the bushing.
Is it like a safety thing, or is it just meh?
It's a meh thing, but it's a handling thing. I can feel it.
Oh, does it do like a little bit of the booty wobble?
Yeah, but it's fine.
Yeah,
I found one shipped for $12 and bought it. The price from
Holy cow, that's cheap.
yeah, dude, Rock Auto, but
I do love Rock Auto.
yeah, because I was going.
Shameless
I was
plug.
at World Pack and like my cost was like $30. I'm like, that's good. I'm like, let me just try Rock Auto, and I'm like, wow, it's $7.99 plus shipping. That's
I've
great.
had like Reman calipers that are on like they're just in like the clearance
Yeah.
section because like nobody buys the parts for these old cars anymore on
Yeah.
Rock Auto.
Oh, it's great.
I just paid 32 shipped with no core for this brand new caliper.
And and I was gonna do the tax-free pricing, but it was gonna save me $1. I went about 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, and I got to a point where I'd have to actually look something up. I'm like, I've been doing this for 2 minutes to save $1.
Dude, I get to that more and more in life.
This is like my opportunity cost. No, I'm good.
Where I had somebody came into my office the other day and they were asking. I had like a drill bit set or whatever.
Yeah.
I needed it to put a camera up on one of our buildings, and he's like, "Why didn't you just go to the shop and get masonry bits from them?" I'm like, "Round trip drive to the shop from here is 30 minutes. Plus, it's going to take me 15 minutes in there to find the right person to get into the tool room to get this tool. That is." Like $30 of company time. This toolkit was $11. I was at Home Depot anyway. I just saved the company $21 by
Exactly.
not doing that.
It's not like you're not going to use it.
Right, and like now the office has a full drill bit set, which we need all the time for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. So it's perfect. Yeah.
And
So-
they fault me. I put the second link for the driver's side one in there too.
Excellent. Thank you.
They do have both. So
Good.
for like less than $90, you will have a complete front set with brackets.
Perfect.
And I believe they have pads in them too still.
I'm not going to be using those. 100%.
I know, but
I need to go find myself some of those fancy centric yellow zinc coated
zinc rotors are
the coolest thing.
oh,
They
dude,
look so rad.
I've been putting nothing but coated rotors on cars for the last like probably year now.
Yeah, it looks
never going back.
Yeah,
Just like because when you work on it a second time, and yeah, it looks so
it
much
looks
better.
really cool, and it is just objectively better. I think
Also,
the yellow
I'm just-
zinc might be one of the best looking coatings.
It is. I found a plater up in Forest Lake that does large batches
Yes.
of zinc now.
Okay.
And I need to like just send every nut and bolt I own up to this guy and just get all of my hardware zinc coated because I want everything zinc coated.
I might have to see how much a caliper rebuild kit would be for those calipers and just zinc coat those calipers.
Or yeah, or you could do the way I do, which is just put it in the ultrasonic tank and then zinc color spray paint it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm poor.
Not going to do that.
Anyway, all right, what's next? What's next on our docket here? Is that mine?
Yes, it's
So-
yours now.
All right, cool. Oh yeah, I wanted to touch on this. This is funny. So the big Volkswagen shows like H2OI and Dubs in the Valley. We've heard that the towns, like the one in Maryland and then Helen, Georgia, are super anal about police. Just like they'll ticket you for camber, for having too low a car, for like
Yeah.
noise violations. That's all fine and well. I like that. But LA has been doing this for street racing too, and I
Oh,
think
for-
they
forever,
have
yeah.
officially taken it too far because there was a nearby taco trailer and van, and they towed it and impounded it what the hell? This is a story out of Jalopnik, but I just like, what? LAPD will even tow a taco truck from a street race.
Oh God, this is why I live in Minnesota.
Right?
Like Minnesota, they don't do this shit.
Like they have the van on the flatbed and they've got their trailer hooked up to the back of this rollback.
It's like in Minnesota, our street racers aren't that bad. Like
No.
when we street race, we do a really good job. Like if there's some like if you're on Vandalia and there's a semi truck coming down, you'll see it. Everybody splits the cars. Everybody goes like this. Tries to get him to toot his horn. It's a good time.
But there isn't the population density in Minnesota, especially around that warehouse district like there is in LA.
That's true. But, well, I mean, you can go to Chicago even. I mean, Chicago's not that bad either. Because Chicago, you know, unless you're, like, drifting on Lower Wacker Drive, which is stupid.
Oh, yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
But, like, if you're, like, going out to, like, south side, like, out to, like, an
Giant
abandoned...
highways.
Like, no, like, abandoned industrial side roads, like...
Sure.
Nobody's going to be out there at 1 o'clock at night on a Saturday. Like, that's fine to go street racing as long as you're being safe with it. Like, is it as safe as a racetrack? No. But there is a point in which you can be safe while street racing, and that's...
I agree.
It's when we have people... Because it's not like you're just having some kids from, like, out of high school out street racing. You have people who actually know how to run a track. So, like, they prep... They prep where you take off from.
Yep.
So like you actually get dudes
The
with
big
brooms.
propane torch and the brooms. And
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not. You've never actually been out to the digs out here, but
nope.
no. There's people that like when I was going like they get like brooms and propane torches and VHT that they lay on the track so you get like grip to get off the line.
It's amazing.
And yeah, like they would set up a racetrack and you'll actually have like people you know, like if people are like getting too close to the road, they won't run anybody until they move out of the way. And so, like,
Weird. It's like they have critical thinking and like preservation instincts.
Well, the thing is, like, the reason people go out street racing is there are no racetracks nearby.
I know.
And you can't get to them in a reasonable fashion, and you want to do that.
Even
Like that's
an
your thing.
airstrip would be super cool.
It's like skateboarding. Like, they have all these no skateboarding rules because, like, people get hurt. Well, yeah, if you're skateboarding in public and you're not doing it, like, at 5 o'clock on a Thursday.
If there was a legal place to go do quarter miles and burnouts, like, anywhere near the cities, I would do it a lot.
Yeah. It's
like, I've got an old set of tires that are almost corded.
The nearest is an hour and a half away.
I know, it's in Wisconsin, right?
Well, there's Grove Creek, which is the 8th mile, and then there's Wisconsin, which is equally as far away, which is a quarter mile. And... it's just one of those things where, you know, it takes, if you try to do that on Friday night, you're going to have to get a hotel.
Yep.
You're not going to need a hotel to do?
Street race?
Yeah, drive down to drive down to State Street or Plato.
Right.
Like, that's, you know, not too far away.
Well, especially for me, it was super close.
Yeah.
I'll either, like, stay at work a little longer and do one, or the other one's close to my house.
You don't even need to text anybody. You just look out your backyard and say...
anyone out?
Looks like cool. Yeah. They're running Shepherd tonight. All right, let's go over there. But like, it's one of those things like, you know,
Shepherd would be good. There's a nice straight
It's a
section with no outlets, inlets, or anything.
That's where they race. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have a really awesome shutdown lane. You have like a almost like a two-stage shutdown lane. See the one where it goes back under and loops back around, or you can take it all the way down to 61. And then loop around at 61.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, there's two different ways to do it, and that's probably the safest spot to race, and nobody's on it. Like, that's a great spot. In fact, the city of St. Paul should sanction Shepherd Road.
It's closed all the time
racing.
anyway for flooding. May as well close it once in a while for street racing.
Yeah, it makes no effect. And you know what they could do?
What?
You could totally shut that down on a Friday and Saturday night.
Yep.
Charge people $20 for entry. And it would pay for itself.
Yeah, I'm sure the insurance policy would be ridiculous, but
that would still, I mean, it's no different than,
I still think it's a good idea.
F1.
I still think it's a good idea, yes.
Yeah, and I think that since you now have a sanctioned road that is going to be safe to race on, you're going to be able to have enough people. You could make quite a bit of money on that. And it's in a largely industrial area, so you're not getting noise complaints.
Well, there's a lot of high-density living really close to that.
It's still far away enough that, like, I've been driving from, like, I've been at the Science Museum.
It's probably okay.
I've been at the Science Museum, like, going up to Shepherd.
Yeah.
In their open-header Hondas, and I could barely hear them. Like, I had my window down, and I heard, like, off in the distance, like, a
Again, if it's sanctioned and it's only during like not super ridiculous hours, it's fine.
That's nighttime, Friday and Saturday. Yeah. Then you can direct people anywhere.
And it's it's a very heavily partitioned wooded thing, so you got a return, like you were saying.
Yep. And then, the thing is, the trees are, it's a banked corner for the second half of it, where people would slide off. But those trees are in an area where there's no way in hell that you would end up shooting your car that direction. Like, not
Unless it's a Mustang.
And
there's
not
a pedestrian by
possible at all.
I don't know. Okay. It's very unlikely, yes.
But yeah, no, I really think I really think that sanctioning street racing is the way to do it.
Just don't tow my taco truck.
Yeah, it's you're missing out on it's like marijuana.
Well, I mean, what is it down in Arizona? They've got the cop-sponsored events at their local
same thing with Florida.
drag strips.
Yeah, and same thing with Florida. They've got Beat the Heat. Yeah.
Or Jeremy Clarkson says, "Beat the meat."
But like those things are really huge, and plus that also does like wonders for improving police public relations.
I agree. You could be like buds with the police officers.
Yeah,
It'd be great.
It was.
I love that.
There are
Most cops are awesome dudes, and a lot of them are into cars or chicks. Yeah, whatever.
But no, there's two police officers, Officer Vang and Officer Tao. Both of them are mine. But there's two police officers that I know very well from street racing, and
I've met Officer Vang, I think.
Yeah, he's a Hmong dude, drives a RAV4.
Yeah,
really nice guy.
Dude, he pulled me over one time. It wasn't street racing, but I know him.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he's the
him
one that helped me with the Boxster when I got hit.
Yeah,
yeah,
super cool guy.
Yeah, he's super. We were talking about us 2000s the whole time.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's like. Yeah, he pulled me over for street racing, and he's like street racing those kids, and I'm like, I told him because I was like totally guilty. I'm like, honestly, my car's too slow and it's just watching. He goes, all right, that's fair. Just keep your nose clean. Don't do this anymore. And he gave me a warning. I went home. But that's the thing is like, that is if I lived in Frogtown and I was able to have good relations with police officers, you wouldn't be having these massive issues, with police, because the police are going to get to know everybody better.
Uh-huh. And who is a risk and who isn't.
Who isn't a risk. You're going to have less like random people getting shot because the cop's scared because he's going to know who he's dealing with. And you're not going to have people saying, fuck the police and stuff. Right. Because there's no point in saying that.
Right.
And it makes sense.
It just gets rid of a bunch of undue bitterness on both ends.
Absolutely. And it really does. And then it's an outlet. And another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, this one is actually something that was brought to me from Lowrider Magazine when I was a kid. A lot of these kids that would go out street racing are from the inner city when otherwise be selling drugs or in gangs and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're putting all of your money into a Honda Civic and not selling drugs,
or your Chrysler 300
or doing
Hemi.
drugs, like that's a good thing, because you know what's going to be a lot worse for society? Drugs.
When people find out that like I've never done any drugs ever, they're like, "How did you avoid that?" I'm like, "I was always spending way too much money on car parts to ever think about that."
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I have no desire to even like good for you, but
I've had people like, I've smoked, pot and stuff, but it's like I've never in my
that
life
once last year.
Never in my life have I ever purchased marijuana because I never wanted to. I was always busy with car stuff.
I don't have time. I do not have time for a drug addiction.
No, I don't have time. I don't have money. I'm broke
or even
as
a
shit.
functional habit. Yeah,
I'm broke as shit. But you know what I'm doing is I'm stimulating the economy by helping small businesses. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I could run an entire political platform on this. So,
anyway, we're at just about an hour. In the interest of keeping things short, just to keep our schedule for our 100th episode going, I suppose we should probably
and let's do
tie her up with our what did we learn?
What did we learn today? I'm gonna let you go first since you
Dude,
mentioned it.
I gotta prepare for this sort of thing. I learned that Ryan and I have both been pulled over by the same officer.
There you go.
That is cool.
That is something that you learned.
I still have a copy of that ticket somewhere, I'm sure.
That's excellent.
Not the ticket, but the report with the insurance info.
But yeah, that cop's a really cool guy.
He is. Props to you, Officer Vang.
God, what's another thing? I learned a lot of things. Not what I learned, but what I taught.
Okay.
I taught Jana that we were at the the Minneapolis Institute of Art, MIA, yesterday, and we were looking at this statue at the Sunken Cities exhibit, and she was wearing like it was this really, really cool statue, and it's like really detailed, but she's wearing like a semi-transparent shawl, and even though it's like a stone shawl, like you can still see like all the parts of her body underneath it. It's
Very
really
fine.
interesting how they did that. And Jan's like, yeah, it's really cool, like Greek or Roman or Greek or Egyptian. I'm like, it's Egyptian. She goes, how do you know that? I'm like, there's no pubic hair. And she goes, what? And I'm like, Egyptians practice dilapidation or depilation, which is removal of all body hair, because they would be fighting lice and stuff, and it's actually better for you if you're living in a hot climate. And she's like, yeah, but Greeks did it too. I'm like, no, Greeks didn't. Like, there's a room full of Greek nudes over there. Let's go look. And so we went over to the Greek statues. Every single one of them had a huge bush. And I'm like, see?
I did
There
not
you
know
go.
that.
So now you know. The Egyptians never showed any body hair at all because it was to combat lice. The
So
more
Egyptian
you know.
men were like bald and stuff?
Yeah. Actually, their eyebrows were even drawn on. Like, the only people that
Interesting. That makes a
people
lot of
usually
sense. Come to think of with headdresses and all that.
Yeah, headdresses and stuff. Some people had like head hair. Priests always had to have
So the Brazilian was born
in Egypt.
So we should call it an Egyptian.
Yes, and they would
Wax
also
like an Egyptian.
they would actually use beeswax too. Just so you know.
You are full of a really strange.
I'm
gamut.
really full of weird shit.
Yeah. Well, I've known that for many, many years. But
There you go.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, thank you for listening to me babble to you about Egyptian artwork and
pubic hair.
pubic hair. These are the things you get to listen to on our podcast. Thank you
Wow.
for listening.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Yep.
Bye.